Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast, where we talk all things Star Wars. My name is Colin,
And my name is Zach.
and we're here to talk about Tales of the Underworld. A new trailer dropped today. Pretty exciting stuff. I want to dive straight into something that people may or may not be talking about, but it's that they dropped this before Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
I kind of find that interesting, just because it seems like they're slowly dropping more and more things that you would think they would maybe drop a Celebration, but they're dropping it now.
For sure.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? I mean, you never been to Celebration before, correct?
No, I haven't been.
Right. Okay.
And I know last year they announced Tales of the Empire to come out on May 4th also, but it wasn't Celebration because there wasn't a Celebration last year. But I was a little surprised to see that they didn't announce it at a panel, because isn't there a Lucasfilm animation panel at Celebration?
Kind of.
Kind of like celebrating the 20th anniversary of
Yeah.
the animation studio, talking about what could be to come. I kind of saw this as something that could be announced as the more to come type thing.
Yeah.
In the description for the panel, but I'm glad we're getting it now. No complaints here.
Oh yeah, I am not complaining. I am over the moon about this.
Me too,
I'm
man.
excited. Yeah. So I'm definitely excited to see where this goes. The other cool thing is that we are diving into characters that we were introduced to in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, definitely.
Ventress was introduced a very long time ago. The first time we saw her on screen was in the 2003 Cartoon Network.
Yeah, so good.
Mega series, and then that kind of carried over to the 2008 Dave Filoni Clone Wars. I love Cad Bane, and I love that we're exploring more of it. And we're about to jump into the actual trailer and break it down. But I wanted to talk about how, from the footage that we've seen so far of what they released, does it feel like multiple episodes, or does it feel like the episodes, of the footage that we saw, are like just from one episode? Because from Tales of the Empire and Tales of the Jedi, we got 6 episodes altogether, and then each episode there was some type of time jump in all of them. Do you think it's going to carry on that tradition, or do you think that maybe they might have all 3 episodes kind of one continuous arc?
Yeah, I think they'll keep it the episodes like the 3 episode arc. I think for Tales of the Jedi, they had the first one for Ahsoka, then jumped to Count Dooku, then finished with the last 2 being Ahsoka. But for Tales of the Empire, I think they had Morgan Elsbeth's arc first, if I'm not mistaken, and they kept the arcs like one right after the other. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept it as episode arcs for this format of releasing this type of show, which I think would be very interesting to see, especially because we could talk about it as we're breaking it down. We see younger Cad Bane in the trailer, and we see older Cad Bane in the trailer, right? So there's definitely significant time that's gone by that could be broken up with, I guess, episode breaks. But
Hunter said in our group chat earlier, Kid Bane, which I thought was like, oh,
I love that. We got a YouTube user asking, what will they announce now that they already did a trailer for this? I'm assuming that's for Celebration with the 20th anniversary panel. I'm really hoping for some sort of I know they did Lost Missions for season 6 of the Clone Wars, and if they did another sort of Lost Missions or Lost Arcs that haven't been brought to the screen, I don't know if they need to retcon the Dark Disciple, which we could talk about a little bit more as we break the trailer down.
Yeah.
Reformat that story and re-release it in animation.
Yeah.
That's my fever dream. I'd love to see that. The finished Utapau Crystal arc, which I'm sure you've seen, Colin. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I would hope for. I don't think that's what they will announce, but what do you think they might announce?
Oh man. More, because I feel like Dave Filoni is this untapped potential person of ideas, and I think he's got so many stuff, so many ideas from the Clone Wars that he never got to put on screen. And there were a lot of different things that were put into that were put into, comic book form and stuff after Lucasfilm was sold over to Disney. So my guess is we'll probably get more stuff down the road. And Filoni is a very, very busy man right now.
Oh, for sure.
One thing that I really, really want to see in this, and I was really excited as soon as, because I didn't watch the trailer first. I saw like the announcement picture. Cad Bane was on it, and it was like,
so
this
good.
is great, because there is a canceled arc from the Clone Wars that I think would be really, really great if they shortened it, and if they do, it would be fine. But I would love it if it was a full episode, arc and everything. But if they did the episode of the origin story of how
Boba Fett got the dent in his helmet, right?
Yes. I want to see that in full animation. Someone did they kind of did a full animation over it like years ago. It's on YouTube somewhere, but Daniel Logan was disappointed that arc never got to come to be, because that was a really cool origin story moment for Boba Fett. And this would be amazing, and this would bring things full circle. And I love this theory. Tell me how cool this would be. Is that at the end of because we know that Cad Bane is a kid in this, from what we saw in the trailer. He wants his revenge, and this is kind of like his origin story. And in the episode or episodes of what we get, how cool would it be if it ended with Jango Fett showing up, and then Jango Fett talks to Cad Bane, because we know that Jango took Cad Bane under his wing and showed him and was his mentor on how to be a bounty hunter. So how cool would that be to like see Jango Fett in that actual Clone Wars animation style? That would bring things full circle. We have seen Jango Fett in the Clone Wars animation style, but only in hologram
picture
form.
Because that was when Ventress was trying to steal the DNA sample for the clones, right? If I'm not mistaken, and Anakin,
and I think it was during
pulled up, but
and then there was also the arc, I think, with Fibes and the chips and stuff like that. So
actually, it might have been that. I think it was just there, but
I'm telling you, man, I would flip out if that happened, because that would be a huge deal, and it would bring the Clone Wars full circle, in my opinion, because Jango Fett is the template. Like, he is the guy. So seeing him in the animation talking would be great. I know this is a pipe dream, but if Tamara Morrison was the one to voice it, it would be really cool. I know that would make sense just because Bradley D. Baker did all the voices of the clones in there, so it's kind of weird. But yeah, I hear you. I think that would be great.
I hear you. Darth Beard was saying they have to have something huge for Celebration if they're dropping this low. I'm assuming he means now, but I agree. Darth Beard, I think they might have something up their sleeve we're not expecting. YouTube user, just go ahead and assume YouTube user Zach from Japan. Hey Zach, what's up? Glad you're joining us. We'll try to get to these comments as we're going here, guys. And Darth Beard also brings up post Return of the Jedi show would be awesome. Bridge the gap to the Force Awakens. James actually brought that up, which was super, super cool. In the Clone Wars animation style, having a show post Return of the Jedi. They're actually doing a comic book that's starting in May, and we're hoping to cover it on the podcast.
About Cad Bane?
No, sorry. Post Return of the Jedi comic about the big three, Luke, Han, and Leia, in the Clone Wars animation. James brought that up. Seems like a super cool idea. Seems like Darth Beard and him are on the same wavelength. I don't know if they'll do that in a comic, like main series. Obviously, the comic gets much less attention to it. Yeah. And it'd be cool if they did, but I guess time will tell, and we will see.
This what was that Ventress fighting Vader? The helmet seemed strange, or my iPad seemed dark, or it was an Inquisitor. It was definitely not Darth Vader.
I think it was an Inquisitor.
It was an Inquisitor, which means that we're adding another Inquisitor to the canon, which is a lot.
Let's see if we can. I think it's on the Inquisitor's on the poster. I don't know if you can tell. You kind of have to zoom in way back there, but for those watching, we got the poster up here.
You know what's funny is that Tales, like, Tales of this series has introduced so many new
I
Sith
know.
Inquisitors.
I know.
And I love Tales of the Empire because that was kind of our introduction through the Inquisitor process, and I really, really enjoyed seeing that on screen.
Absolutely,
Zach,
man.
Zach Holder, yo, what's up? If not another animation series, maybe a live action series, dive into the Jedi Survivor universe.
That'd be cool.
There's been a rumor for a very long time that that we will be getting live action Cal Kestis. We don't know in what series yet. Could be the Mandalorian Grogu movie. It could be season 2 of Ahsoka. We don't know exactly where he's going to pop up, but I could see him popping up real soon in live action. Darth Beard says 1138th brother. Yeah, that's about right. But let's dive into this trailer because there's a lot to talk about, and things are a lot better when we're seeing them in a visual form. Let's do it. All right, here we go.
Perfect.
All right, so we saw the trailer, seeing some type of vulture type creatures. Let's back up here and pause. Okay, so do we think this is Tatooine?
Man, it's easy to assume it could be Tatooine, but I don't think it's Tatooine.
We actually didn't go to Tatooine a lot in the Clone Wars. We only went a couple of times.
That's true. Yeah. I think I'm just kind of pulling that from the recent years of Star Wars TV. I think people are kind of like, oh, Tatooine again. But I wouldn't be upset if we went back to Tatooine. But I'm trying to think what other planet that could be. Like if I'm trying to remember the species name for Cad Bane.
Their species is a Duros.
Yes.
Duros.
Do we know? Is that like? Does that go with the name of the planet that the species is from?
No.
If that makes sense, like Toydarian and Toydaria. I don't know if that would be something like that, but
do they? And so the trailer continues, and it's got like droids kind of. Yeah, I don't think this is Tatooine. It could be Tatooine. That
could be a moisture farm. It looks set up like it could be.
Yes, and then there's so this is going to be jumping back and forth, and of what they did with Tales of the Jedi is that they jumped into this. They did it in chronological order. So the first episode is Ahsoka being born, and then they do all the episodes with Count Dooku. So so episode 2 is Dooku with young Qui-Gon Jinn. The second episode is kind of older Dooku, but not to where we see him in Attack of the Clones. Like that's way down the road. But he's then on this mission with Mace Windu, and then the last episode with Dooku was him actually turning to the dark side fully, and actually crosses over with the events of episode 1. And then you jump into the next episode, which is Ahsoka training. So my guess is this is like if they is that we'll probably get all the Cad Bane episodes first. Yeah. If it is a continuous 1, 2, like a part 1, 2, and 3, they could definitely jump and show us, footage that we haven't seen for the trailer, and it could be like the other ones where like each episode is a short story. I really hope that that's the case of where each one is like a different short story, just because I want more Cad Bane. I want to see, I really want to see that Boba Fett story. I want to see, maybe more stories of him during the Galactic Civil War with the Stormtroopers and the Empire. We only saw a glimpse of that in the Bad Batch, but we jump from that desert place to this kind of industrial planet. Could be Corellia, probably not. We have Stormtroopers and the Clone Wars animation style, which is sick. And then we have an older person. Ventress has her hairstyle that we saw in the Bad Batch, so that means this is probably taking place after that, or maybe right before. And then we have a Trandoshan. We have an older guy on May 4th. This is coming out May 4th, guys. Get pumped for this. And then Cad Bane, a younger Cad Bane. Now let's talk about his look here.
I was going to ask about that. What did you think about? It's definitely different. What are your thoughts
tell you why. That? What's throwing a lot of people off is that Cad Bane doesn't have his tubes on yet.
Yeah.
So that's a big throw off because we're so used to Cad Bane having like those, you know, kind of tubes like around his neck and that's been part of him. But most of his species don't have that. Do you know why he had those?
Wasn't it so he could breathe in space or like avoid getting force choked?
Yes. It was
Okay.
to avoid getting force choked by the by any force user
Yeah, for
is
sure.
basically. And I always wondered if there was an origin story for that. Maybe he experienced that and he's like, I don't want to
Yeah.
experience that again. So maybe we might get it in this show. Who knows? But we get a younger Cad Bane, and he's got a cool hat. Return to the Galaxy. Gosh, he's got like this cool cowboy look. Yep, he's
He
walking
really
through.
does.
Yep. Oh, wait, hold up. That older guy that Cad Bane is with. Here, I just want to make
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So
That's who's talking to Ventress at the beginning,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep. So
We don't know his name, do we? He kind of looks like
nope.
Yularen, but sounds nothing like Yularen. So
Yeah.
it's
it's definitely not him. Absolutely not.
for sure.
Yeah. Outside the law. Oh, okay. So
this with her talking about
that's interesting.
Like saying out loud, I was Count Dooku's assassin. Now I'm not. I thought that was very interesting because I wonder if this is pre-Order 66 for Ventress, because I don't know what happens with her during the events of Order 66. I don't know where she is. Like,
We don't know. Yeah.
It'd be really interesting to see if we got that story, because this kid who we have up on screen here for those watching with us, he's the Jedi that we have in the poster, right? Or with the kid with the blue lightsaber.
Yeah, we don't know if he's a Jedi. He's a Force user.
Sure.
Most likely he is a Jedi on the run. That's probably it. But what I'm thinking, that maybe this isn't this wall that has the medals on it. That isn't Ventress's. I think this is maybe misleading, because I don't think Ventress would hold on to her medals.
No, I don't think so either.
Because of her arc in the Clone Wars, like after she, almost, pretty much gets executed by Count Dooku, and his army and everything, is like she wants to move on from that and not remember the past. So her holding on to medals from her days as a separatist would kind of be out of character in a way.
Yeah,
from my point of view,
she had nothing when she left. And dude, what if it was like Admiral Trench comes back again and he's I'm just kidding. There's no way. There's no way, but
I mean, who knows, man? I mean, probably not. He got stabbed in the chest, but he also came back as far as we know, he came back to life 3 times, because there was the first time where it was his first appearance in the Clone Wars, and Admiral Yularen said that his ship did go down, but we never saw a body. Is pretty much what he said. And then you jump to season 2, and then you have Anakin Skywalker blow up that ship. He lives there. And then, you jump to season 6, we see him. He doesn't die, but he's there. And then we finally see him get killed in season 7. But I don't know. If someone's going to survive, it's going to be Trench. Yeah. Geez. So I was Count Dooku's assassin. You have Ventress
with that yellow lightsaber. Super cool. That
droid. Hang on.
That droid looked like the one that's with them on the tram.
Yes.
In the Bounty Hunter arc in the Clone Wars.
Yep.
Oh, she's stabbing a stormtrooper, so that's definitely post.
Yep. Yeah. So we know she served with this droid for a bit, and when she was part of the Bounty Hunters. Yes, that droid is on the poster.
Let me double check. Oh, sorry, I don't want to get in front of that, but
it's on the far right.
Yep. I wonder what this kid has to do with everything. That's a big question for sure.
I'm thinking he's just a kid on the run, like maybe who's Jedi. All right, so turns on the lightsaber. Sith Inquisitor.
I wonder if that's the reveal that maybe not. I think Ventress would have somehow revealed that she is a Force user to that kid before that point. But when
Yeah.
she ignites the lightsaber, he had a really surprised look on his face.
What does that Arabish say? Hang on.
Oh man,
So
do you see the younger kid on the steps? Is that who we think could be the younger Cad Bane? Like, is that
well,
another kid? Like a
Cad
Duros
Bane
on
is
the
standing right there. I assume
right,
this is Cad Bane on
the
on the left here.
the younger kid we saw being held by like a mother figure we thought was Kid Cad Bane. Could that kid be at the top of the steps there? Because that looks like a blue
Yeah.
Duros to me.
Could that be his son? Could that be like, oh man, could you imagine just like, oh, this is the episode where you find out like Cad Bane has a son or something?
That'd be
Wild.
nuts.
Yeah. So right now we're on mark 1 minute and 12 seconds. And right before this, on 1 minute and 11 seconds, we have Ventress and the Sith Inquisitor, who we don't know who they are. They're kind of having like a standoff, and then it jumps to Cad Bane. And my guess is this guy that he's having a standoff with is like, it could be his brother, it could be his one of his childhood friends that maybe betrayed him when he was younger. We know he wants revenge against him, but what did he do?
Right. Yeah.
What do you think he did? Like, do you think he did some type of like betrayal thing, like sold them out or something like that? Because
Mr. Steal Your Girl out here.
Yeah, dude, Cad Bane's mad, man. Cad Bane is not happy. He's like, yeah. So we continue, and we have the standoff type situation where it kind of reminds you of what we saw in the Bad Batch with Hunter and Cad Bane, and it also resembles the standoff that he had with Boba Fett and the Book of Boba Fett. We know Cad Bane's kind of, signature, and it's these kind of shootouts, like these old cowboy, the good, the bad, and the ugly shootouts. Yeah.
Man, that's so cool.
No one needs to die. Quote. And then, all right. So here's about a look at the shot.
Zoom in enhance.
Yeah, geez.
Man,
so
eyes.
Yeah, so this Inquisitor has like, orange eyes that could be the Sith eyes, but also it's just like, oh man, there's a lot to process here. We don't know who it is. As far as I know, we don't know. Let me pull a full list up of the Sith
Inquisitor, whatever number is next. Universal and I believe YouTube. Let me pull up Universal's comment. Why was this debuted now, not at Celebration? We were kind of talking about that a little bit earlier.
I was blown away by that. Yes, that makes me think that most likely they'll probably have a screening of these episodes at Celebration.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
They actually did that for some of the episodes of Tales of the Jedi. For people who went to Celebration there. Let me pull it up here. Sith Inquisitor list. I'm not seeing anyone that is resembling this character, as far as we know.
Yeah, I would agree.
It could be the sixth brother, probably not.
It would have been sweet if they picked an Inquisitor that was like featured in the Jedi Fallen Order games, like the second sister, if I'm getting her name right, because I think that's who dies at the beginning of the second game. But would be cool to get more of those.
I would love to see the ninth sister on screen. Like
that would be awesome.
She is like a giant tank. Like I would love to see her on screen.
Universal's asking, is this also only 6 episodes? Do we have confirmation on that, Colin?
We don't know how many episodes this is. Okay. But as the tradition of Tales of has been doing is 6 episodes.
Oh, don't move that.
3 episodes per character.
But is that her same lightsaber hilt?
I'm presuming so. Probably upgraded.
Okay, because if she used her like original kyber crystals, you can't make it a solid color after it's red, right? Correct? Like it has to be like you can purify a red crystal to be white.
Right. Yes, you're absolutely right. I was gonna say Ahsoka did her best to turn
Yeah,
the red crystals in her book back to a different
yep.
color, but she was only able to achieve white.
Because we
But yeah,
see when she shows up in the Dark Disciple book, which I don't know where it lies in the canon with that book, but like she has the yellow lightsaber by the time it shows up, or by the time she shows up. So
no,
maybe we'll see how that happens.
I can't wait for this because just look how like confident and like menacing Cad Bane looks here of the shot,
Yeah,
and then his enemy there. They have a shootout. He
it's
shoots,
crazy.
and then we kind of get a full other body shot. So, you know what? This actually looks like there is a unknown Inquisitor. That looks like it has the same belt from the comics, and I can't think the name of it.
Is this like the Darth Vader comic that came out 4 or 5 years ago between episodes 3 and 4?
I think so.
Because there were a bunch of Inquisitors in there, just in shots that didn't get much dialogue or anything,
Yeah.
and they still keep creating new ones. There's also there was a new Inquisitor comic that ran last year. That's probably what you're talking about.
Yeah. There's a lot, guys. There's a lot. There is a lot of Sith
just to the
Inquisitors.
show.
But I mean, yeah, because of that's. I mean, we were introduced to a lot of Sith Inquisitors through these through the Tales of. So there's a lot here. Cad Bane shooting with his 2 pistols, 2 bounty hunters. Now, I wanted to bring up the bounty hunter aspect of this. They call it Tales of the Underworld and not Tales of the Bounty Hunters.
Which
and
is weird because they have that.
Right.
I mean?
So my guess is down the road. I mean, because there's so many stories that they can do with Tales of, and we've definitely talked about it in the past, but with this aspect of Tales of the Underworld, that opens up the options of maybe doing more origin stories for different characters.
Like, it makes me think of level like 1313. I don't know why the game that got scrapped.
Yeah. So because of the first thing that pops in my head is the show is the game 1313, but also the canceled show Underworld, which was covered on the Young Indie Pod because they talked to Rick McCallum and they did a whole interview with that and they dived deep into that. But I think this opens up the potential for maybe different bounty hunters that we haven't seen.
That'd be cool.
I mean, like that we have seen, but not in like, in this animation type story of Tales of. So, there's Bosk, IG-88, IG-11, Forlom. There's also the different bounty hunters that Chris Bartlett has played. So there's a lot of potential here of what they could do. And we've been saying for a while, do a whole show about bounty hunters. Just do it. Just have a full out story of where you're following one bounty hunter and then the others like tag along. Could you imagine seeing like the 6 original bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back that were on the Star Destroyer, like all like on this adventure, like Boba Fett, Forlom, Zuckuss, IG-88, like Dengar. Oh, it'd be so cool.
That'd be crazy. Well, and it's interesting. I mean, bringing up the potential to have more characters like that. Do you think any of these shows, like Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Underworld, do you think any of them will be getting season 2?
I don't know. I think they really wanted to have this as a one-off thing, because with the last episode of the Tales of the Empire, of where the Sith Inquisitor, I can't think of her name, but she was first shown in Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm gonna it was the fourth sister, because in Tales of the Empire she stabs Barriss Offee. If you haven't watched that, sorry, spoiler alert. But the fourth sister stabs Barriss, and then she walks out of the cave, and we don't know if Barriss actually survived or not.
Yes.
So that kind of left that that story kind of open. But we jump to 1 minute and 29 seconds. Cad Bane is kind of standing there, and there's a blue glow on the left side of the screen there. Could that potentially be a lightsaber? Is there a... I'm not saying he's holding it. Like,
what if there's a crossover between like what happens with this kid? Because we saw
right. Yep.
talking to that older gentleman and him talking or him walking or with somebody, and maybe it was Cad Bane, but it'd be interesting to see if these actually overlap with each other.
That would be great because out of all the tales of so far, none of the stories actually did a full crossover. So if they ended up doing to where Cad Bane's story happens and then you jump to Ventress's, you'll probably put 2 and 2 together and be like, wait, I just saw this character in the last episode. And then they're talking about something that happened in the Cad Bane stuff. Wait, is this leading up to? And then Cad Bane shows up and stuff like that. And then so that would be cool. But we jump to that shot of where Cad Bane is standing there and there's a blue glow that turns on and is just sitting there. Could that be a lightsaber?
That'd be cool.
Like someone is
We've seen him use one.
Right. Someone is like pointing. No, I'm not saying he's using. I'm saying like maybe someone's like holding a lightsaber like to his throat or something like that, and he's pointing at someone. Like and we Ventress in action. We have a scene here which I think is going to be sick. But she's in the room with a original trilogy probe droid, which is really cool. And then and then you got the stormtroopers, and then you have her with this Jedi on the Run character, which I'm kind of curious of how she was brought into this, of why she's with this Jedi. I'm curious if maybe she was hired or something, but and I love that we're getting like seeing stormtroopers in action in this animation style, because we saw the stormtroopers in this animation style for a brief second in season 7 of the Clone Wars at the end when Darth Vader walks up to the crash site. But so the kid turns on his lightsaber, he's slashing, he's dicing, will survive. So it says we'll survive, and then we cut to a scene where they're on the run from like the police. Which that police speeder looks like Coruscant, like of what they had in Coruscant. So maybe we're going back to Coruscant. I'm not complaining. Coruscant is a really cool place. And then that would kind of bring things full circle to the Underworld, because when you think of Underworld, I think the first thing that pops in a lot of people's heads is the Underworld of Coruscant, going down to the planet's core and all that stuff. So they're on the run. Cad Bane does a cool jump, and then he's wearing like a kind of small trench coat thing going on. I can't wait to see like how many different, I feel like he's going to go through these episodes and like, if this is the origin story, he's going to like finalize his look. Like,
for sure.
Yeah. So it's going to be cool to see that. Jordy gets shot. Duros is there. Someone is falling off a cliff. There's so much action going on in the shadows. Ventress is back in her stance. She's fighting the Inquisitor.
It just looks so good. Like, the animation has come so far, dude.
Yep. And then we have stormtroopers in this industrial area. They're running up. I think we just saw a Star Destroyer on the ground. Yep.
Oh yeah, sure enough.
Yeah. This is 1 minute and 41 seconds. Interesting. Okay. All right, so we jump, and then we get like a close shot of the stormtroopers. Again, love that they're in this animation style. Makes me so happy. And then Ventress is running. We got, I can't tell what ship that is, but they're in this. I don't think we've seen that ship before, have we?
The one that's blowing up we've seen before. That's like a shuttle we've seen the Separatists use, but the one that's flying and blowing up, I can't quite recall what it is. Hold up, is that a gunship on the left there?
Yes, it is. So these are Imperial gunships now. They look slightly different
because of the like land, or what is it?
I see it. That would be light. That could work. That could definitely work. Having Ventress on Lothal would be, kind of cool.
Yeah.
Blows up, boom, explosion. I think that character of that kind of figure that we see is Ventress, I think.
Yeah.
So the explosion happens, the gunships are flying towards it, and then we have like a fire going on. This could be Lothal. I could definitely. Well, actually, I I don't know, man. I don't know. And then this is the line where we know that Cad Bane wants revenge, but we don't know for what. So he says, "You're gonna pay for what you did. You have Ventress and the kid. Big speeder bike chase coming up here.
Yeah.
Cad Bane in a shootout. That Trandoshan that had a line gets shot. So that's kind of a spoiler thing in there. Like, come on. Yeah, he gets shot.
Gone.
Ventress blocks. That droid,
I'm starting to think that's more and more like Lothal. Yep. Sorry, but
no, yeah, it's good. I hope the revenge was worth it.
Yeah.
It will be. We have Cad Bane walk towards the camera. Star Wars Tales of the Empire. I also love how it's not their traditional orange like in the trailer, but on the poster it is. But it's I'm just gonna say it's like Yoda green. Like it's got like that weird Yoda green type color.
Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure, man.
Yeah.
We got original shorts available May 4.
I'm trying to find a shot of where they're let's play it for a second here. We got a problem here. Just saw him right in. So they're talking about Cad Bane. He walks up, puts on the hat. So there's a shot where Ventress and the kid is just kind of standing there to get rid of the ship, but then the Sith Inquisitor attacks. I want to see that shot again because it looks like there's a character that's there that I might have missed. I don't want that life anymore. All right, right here. Let's see if we can see. Sith Inquisitor. Okay, never mind. For some reason, I thought I saw the and the Clone Wars and then on Jedi Survivor, how there were like the police guards that were kind of wearing like the weird cloaked and they had like the weird eyes and then
like they were who were chasing after Ahsoka in season 5.
Yes,
got Fran, right? Yeah.
I thought I saw one of those guards, but yeah.
Well, let's take a look at some of these comments here. Universal said the new key art for the series gives us a closer look at a host of new characters and one other familiar face, Latz Razzie, the Thelan bounty hunter we first met in Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Yep.
Who we saw in the train arc.
Yep.
Not the train arc. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They confirmed that another Jedi survived Order 66. He also says while a young Padawan grapples with life after Order 66. So that's very interesting. Blue Milk Intelligence says TJ is here. What up, TJ? Welcome. Thanks for coming by.
What's up?
Universal also says Underworld will run 6 episodes long, 3 episodes apiece for Ventress and Bane. Universal also says
they are following the tradition.
That which is good. Well, I mean, it could go either way, I guess. The twin stories will follow Ventress after her return from the death of the 2015 book Dark Disciple as he tries to navigate life after the Clone Wars and during the reign of the Galactic Empire.
Right. So he is reading off of what they posted on the website because they gave a full description.
Oh, they said this?
Yes, I was gonna get to that in a bit, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit more here, but yeah.
Yeah. We'll dive deeper into that in a second. But yeah, so there is a lot to look forward to in this, and I just love the vibe of it. I love all of the bounty hunter aspect of it, the speeder chase. My guess is this is probably going to be the most action packed that we've gotten out of a Tales of, because the other stories were very story driven. This looks very action driven. This is kind of like the opposite of what we've gotten, because the other ones were, with Count Dooku, that was following the fall of not just him, but the Jedi Order in general, and showing you the corruption of all that. You had You also had Ahsoka's story, and that was very story driven. And then you had Tales of the Empire, where we followed Morgan's story, and that was kind of leading up to the events of The Mandalorian. And that first episode was definitely action packed, where she was introduced, because it showed General Grievous like just fully destroying her village and people and everything.
Right.
And then you led into stuff with Barra Sophie, and I think this one, however, Tales of is going to be very, very story driven. I mean, not story driven, action driven. I think there is going to be a lot of action than what we've had from the other Tales of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's a lot to look forward to. I'm definitely excited. Let's read the description real quick. Stand by.
Yeah, absolutely. Where was the description coming from? Because I didn't see it on their website.
Yep. Hang on. Stand by.
Let me see.
I am pulling it up now. Just give me 1 second.
Oh, I see here. There's an article.
Yep.
Very cool.
All right, here we go. So the description of the show. 2 favorite Star Wars bounty hunters are back for Tales of the Underworld. Lady Asajj Ventress and her yellow lightsaber are back alongside the infamous quick draw Cad Bane in a new anthology of animated shorts. Today, Lucasfilm and Disney Plus announced Star Wars Tales of the Underworld, the 3rd installment in the Tales anthology series following Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire, revisiting beloved characters to explore previously untold yet pivotal stories. Streaming on Disney Plus. Star Wars Day, May the 4th. Tales of the Underworld is a 6-episode journey following 2 notorious bounty hunters, former dark side assassin Asajj Ventress, as she's given a new chance at life and must go on the run with an unexpected new ally and outlaw, Cad Bane, as he faces his past when he confronts an old friend, now a marshal on the other side of the law. In the new trailer for the series, fans get a glimpse at how Ventress and Bane are surviving the shadow of the Empire. In a tattered cloak, Ventress, last seen in Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3, ignites her saber to face a mysterious enemy with a red blade, while a young Padawan grapples with life after Order 66 and donning his iconic hat. Bane finds himself on another tense blaster fight as steel peckers circle overhead, a standoff that reminds us of his live-action appearance in the Book of Boba Fett. The new art for the series gives us a closer look at a host of new characters and one other familiar face, Lots Razi, the Thelan bounty hunter we first met in the Clone Wars, Ventress, Bane, and the first hover over a credit symbol, the 3rd in a trilogy of posters that previously showcased the Jedi Order symbol and the Imperial cog emblem. The Tales of the Underworld stars returning voices, voice actors Anika Futterman as Asajj Ventress, Corey Burton as Cad Bane. Fun fact, he also voiced Count Dooku in the Clone Wars, as well as Art Butler, Lane Factor, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, I apologize, AJ Lo Ocasio, Claire Grant, Don Lynn Gardner, and Eric Lopez. Dave Filoni created the series and is a supervising director. He is also an executive producer, along with Athena Yvette Portillo and Carrie Beck. Josh Rhimes serves as co-executive producer. Alex Spotswoods is the senior producer, and Matt Michinovets is the writer. Watch the stories of Ahsoka Tano and Count Dooku and Tales of the Jedi, Morgan Elizabeth and Barra Sophie and Tales of the Empire. Now, then stream at Tales of the Underworld when it arrives on Disney Plus May 4th, 2025. Yeah, so there is a lot to break down here. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, and I also wanted to talk about the other exciting stuff, which is what you can do on May 4th, because May 4th is going to be a little busy this year. If you are a big fan of Andor, guess what? You are going to be getting 3 episodes a week all the way until May 13th, which I may or may not be watching that in the hospital, depending on if my son is born around that time, because my son's due date on May 14th. So I might be like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so there's that. And then you also have new episodes of season 2 of season 2 of Light and Magic. And if you haven't watched season 1, check that out. But Light and Magic is the
so good
documentary about industrial light and magic, and how these wonderful people, were pioneers in the film industry and just created things from the ground and just worked their way up. And from different animations to claymation to just how we look at film, like, it's absolutely incredible. So I am beyond excited to for that. And then you've got Tales of the Underworld, which we'll watch on May 4th. And then potentially Visions Volume 3. That will also be a potential thing, because last year, not last year, 2020,
2024.
No, I'm doing the math here. 2023 was when Visions Volume 2 came out. That came out on May 4th. So there's a chance that it might come out on May 4th again. I don't know if they'll do that. The first season of Visions came out in September. So I don't know if they'll do it on May 4th or somewhere different during the year, just kind of to spread out the Star Wars. We'll see. But and then you have episode 3, which will be in theaters.
Can't wait.
Still, which is fantastic. That's coming up. That's amazing. And if you've never seen it in theaters, go. It is
get out
remarkable. That movie actually came out on my birthday those years ago, all the way back in 2005. So
it's re-releasing on my birthday weekend, so it's kind of close, but not quite.
Hell yeah, dude!
I'll take it.
Yep,
I'll take it.
Yeah. And if it depends on where you live, but there will be a lot of different Star Wars events happening probably throughout your community, and the 501st will probably be there. So
sure.
if you're in the Grand Rapids area and you see if you see Chewbacca walking around, it's probably me.
Could be coming.
And I know there's some Star Wars concerts that are happening as well. So if you want to hear the beautiful music of John Williams, definitely go and check those out. Very, very cool stuff. Countdown City Geeks. Those guys sound pretty cool. Very important question. How do you think David did on his Daisy interview?
I thought he got her to say Star Wars Stuff podcast. So
I thought it was great. I know that I would be in the same shoes, like, of just being like, oh my gosh, it is Daisy Ridley. This is crazy.
He killed it.
But David absolutely crushed it. Countdown City Geeks. Those guys sound pretty cool.
Pretty chill. On that note, Colin, though, of things to do weekend of May 4th, free comic book day is May 3. I believe it's a nationwide thing.
It is.
If you go to your local comic shop, they will have previews for what is to come for Star Wars looking into the summer. Currently, there's a comic running called Legacy of Vader. I've got the first 2 issues covered, and we'll figure out how to get that to you guys. And I'm looking to cover the new Star Wars main title that follows Han, Luke, and Leia post Return of the Jedi. So there's little snippets into those, amongst other things. So feel free to go to your comic shops, and that should be amongst the free issues that they're handing out.
David and James might be able to get their hands on the new Beyond. So at Celebration, there is going to be this meta experience where you'll be able to play this story of. It takes place between. It takes place around the events of Solo, and it's called Star Wars Beyond Victory. And there's a comic book that takes place before this game, But what's really cool is that Boba is in it.
Love it.
Yeah, and so if David and James get their hands on that comic book, because if you do the experience, they said that they would give you that comic book, as a hey, thanks for playing and stuff. So I hope they do that because I'm really interested in that. But yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. Celebration is right around the corner. There is going to be a lot of exciting stuff. We'll have free comic book day announcement next week for San Antonio. Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Very cool.
Yeah. What's your plans for Star Wars Day?
Man, dude. Well, it sounds like I'm gonna wake up and watch Tales of the Underworld right away. Because last year, did I say underwear? I meant Underworld. Underwear.
Tales of the Underwear.
Man, that's gonna be a meme.
No.
But so last year at this time, maybe it was a couple weeks different. But anyway, I was trying to find the True Moo like blue milk everywhere, and I wanted to make sure because I loved watching the Clone Wars when I was a kid, eating cereal Saturday mornings after they switched it from Friday nights. And I loved the nostalgia factor of like getting cereal together, watching Tales of the Empire last year with the blue milk. And I don't think there's blue milk this year, but I'm going to wake up first things first and definitely go after that, the Tales of the Underworld, not underwear. And there's a really good chance my wife and I might go see, they have A New Hope playing May 4th, right? In Grand Rapids,
over at the Van Andel.
Over at Van Andel.
Yeah.
I might have my days mixed up, but
they are playing on May 4th. I will talk to you after this because maybe we can coordinate.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Cool.
Yeah. So no.
How about you, man?
Oh man, geez. Wake up. I'll definitely do that. Where I'm watching Tales of the Underworld, and then gonna be out trooping. I'll be Chewy for most of the day. Again, this is like as soon as May hits, that is baby month. At the end of April, Hayden can come at any point. So it's kind of like things are kind of up in the air. We'll see what is going on. Exactly. It just depends on if he's here yet or not. But if he's not here yet, I'll be trooping. And then I'm gonna be we'll probably go to the May 4th concert that's happening over the Van Andel.
Super cool.
Because I've seen some of the movies in concert and stuff like that, and but just hearing the John Williams score with the movie playing in the background live is just fantastic. So that might be something up our alley that we'll probably go to. I know there's a limit of what tickets are left for that, but
for sure.
But trooping, doing Star Wars things with some amazing people. I know at some point we'll probably be trooping over at some of the local movie theaters for Revenge of the Sith. And then still waiting on that DLC. And I actually posted a comment on the official Outlaws page because they announced that they were going over to Nintendo Switch 2 for Star Wars Outlaws. And I'm like, you know what? This is great, but we're still waiting on that announcement, for the Hondo Onaka DLC for Star Wars Outlaws. What's up with that, man? I want more Hondo. The world wants more Hondo. Come on.
Yeah.
So here's hoping that we get that, very soon because they said early spring. I'm just saying they said early spring, but there is a lot of Star Wars stuff going on within the next couple of weeks here, and then May has always been known as Star Wars month because there's always different Star Wars announcements happening.
Absolutely.
And
cool.
We'll definitely do like a Star Wars Day episode, most likely, and then I'll do like a Star Wars Day post here on our Instagram.
Cool.
Which we were able to fix that, by the way. So now if you type in Star Wars Stuff Pod, you can find us on Instagram. So there you go. That's fantastic. I was very, very happy about that. But anything else? I know there's a lot more, and I know David wants to do another big episode, and I believe we're recording tomorrow. So if you're out here in the world of live streaming and stuff, come and join us tomorrow. And we actually got a interview lined up, and I'll be announcing that tomorrow on social media as well. So stay tuned for that. I'll give you a hint. They've been in Rogue One, they've been in Solo, they've been in Force Awakens, and they were in The Last Jedi. So
it's pretty good.
Leave that as you will.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Thank you to everyone that is part of our Patreon. Go find us on patreon.com, Star Wars Stuff Podcast 2187. And then also go to David's gonna kill me. I think I said that wrong. Hang on. Sorry, guys.
No, that's it. I think it's Star Wars Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Okay. And then TikTok, search Star Wars Stuff Podcast. We're on there. Please go email us at starwarsstuffpodcast@gmail.com. Twitch, Star Wars Stuff Gaming. Please go on Apple Podcasts, where we will, we want to hear your guys' reviews, feedback. We love it. It helps us get better. So please,
for sure.
We'd love to hear your reviews. Go on our website, StarWarsStuffPodcast.com. We are on Instagram at Star Wars Stuff Pod. Go and check us out there. We got some fun videos on there of me and Ray. Ray and I are actually going to be recording an episode on next Tuesday, which we're super excited because we're getting back into the swing of things. So please go and check us out. Also, LegionSabers.com. Check that out. Use the code STUFF and for a 15% discount. Go and check that out, guys. Zach, any words of wisdom?
Don't take any wooden nickels. Just don't do it. Have I told you that before, Colin? Was that what we talked about in the car? Maybe I was talking to someone else, but
that was a 22-hour drive there, and then we had
a lot of conversation that happened in those 40-plus hours in a car.
Oh my gosh!
It's definitely hard to remember everything, but
oh man. Well, with that being said, may the Force be with you always.
Always. See you guys.